Happy Sunday evening, traders. John with Tactical Trading here with our week of March 28th watch list. Man, already heading into April 2022. This year is absolutely flying by. It blows my mind. Where do I start here? We have, and something that I talked about in the OTC Saturday video yesterday, we have House voting on legislation for federally legalizing marijuana. I gave you a list of plays to take a look at. Couple of my favorites, in fact. So if you want to check out that list, go check out the OTC Saturday video I put out yesterday. Otherwise, I'm going to start with just two that my two main ones that I like the most. The one I like the best is DMAN Brands, DMAN, closed at 0.01295, down 5% on Friday. This is an actual company that actually has legitimate revenues coming in, very good share structure. As we can see, has right around $500 million on the unrestricted shares. So this is definitely one of my favorite cannabis stocks. Let's see here. And then my second is Greater Cannabis, GCAN. Closed at 0.0034, another one with a pretty good share structure. And so these are the two that I'll be looking for going into the House legislation voting on legalization. Now, as I said in the video yesterday, these are probably not stocks that I want to hold long term. Not even swinging through the, maybe through the legislation. I mean, in my opinion, I think the legislation is going to get passed, and it does have to go to the Senate. But nonetheless, if this legislation doesn't get passed, these stocks are going to get crushed. So this may be something to hold into the, right into the legislation, sell into strength. But you got to do your own homework. Again, I am not a financial advisor. Everything said on this channel is my opinion and should not be taken as financial advice. Do your own research on all these plays. As much as I like to give ideas, I am not here to hold your hand, and nor should you want anybody to hold your hand. Be self-sufficient in this business. It's gonna take you a lot further. So, but yeah, these are the two plays that I do like as far as in the cannabis sector. I'm gonna bring in quite a few other plays that I do like looking at going into this week. One play that I think might get some attention. Let's take a look here. And this is ATIG, Atlantis Gaming Corporation, closed at 0.0022. This thing is bloated as far as the authorized shares and outstanding shares, but it does have 12 million restricted shares. So there's just a little under 3 billion on the unrestricted, and just a little under 2 billion held at the DTC. It does say that there's only 1.2 billion in the float. I'm not sure how accurate that is. The last update was March 21st and shows us that there is right around 2 billion held at the DTC. This is a gaming company that actually brought on board Warren Moon and Roy Jones, a boxing legend and a football legend. Let's see where this goes. I think with those names, this should get some attention. And at this price, I think we can definitely see some movement here. So do your research on this one. I definitely like it. I want to give a shout out to Angry Red. That's Angry Red. You can find him on Twitter. He's the one that brought this to my attention in the middle of last week. He has some good DD out on some good research on this on his Twitter page, so I would definitely check that out. This is definitely something I'm looking at going into next week. Another one is REOS Energy Corp. Again, as I've been saying, I really like energy plays. REOS Energy, REOS, closed at 0.053, up 8% on Friday. This one has an excellent share structure, only 200 million in the authorized shares, 80 million in the outstanding, 66 million restricted, leaving only just under 15 million in the float. So we get any real news with this thing can absolutely fly. These are ones, if they get the news, you can see a double or triple. A lot of steam picking up on Twitter on this one. Go check the Twitter feed, and you might like what you see here. REOS is definitely something that I am watching next week. I really don't have to talk about these plays. I've been talking about them enough. Had them on OTC Saturday yesterday, but still watching them next week. We had a tweet from the CEO, Mark Galswick. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but for DUTV, this thing closed at 0.0116. It was down 5% on Friday, so it did have a slight pullback, as I mentioned yesterday. There's a good possibility that this thing could pull to 1 and then before it takes off, but ultimately, I definitely see this thing going at minimum 3 cents. I mean, but I think this thing could do much better. This is one of my favorite plays in the OTC, so definitely like DUTV going into next week. Check out the tweet by the CEO. He was mentioning that he did bring in his brother-in-law who did work for Microsoft doing social media, so they're bringing in a professional presence for their social media, which tells me that they're probably looking to get their presence out there, especially when they bring these companies in to their shell. They said they want this to be a master holding company, so I would imagine Mark wants to bring all his companies in here for a holding. Another one, obviously, we really don't have to get too much into, and I'm definitely watching next week. INTK, definitely think this thing has some room. Pulled back nicely on Friday after or Thursday after the conference call. Pretty much flatlined on Friday and had a nice consolidation day, closed at 0.0375, up 3% on Friday. This is one to take a look out for. I definitely think this one can break those 5.25 highs or 523 highs. So INTK is definitely high on my radar. One we also brought up is ICOA. Closed at 0.0084, up 8% on Friday. I think this thing has at least a penny and a half written all over it. So definitely like ICOA. This is a real company. Got a lot of good things going on over here. And it's in blockchain and crypto. This is definitely one with IBG. I'd definitely be taking a look at ICOA. Doesn't have the greatest share structure, as we talked about this stock several times on this channel, but again, doesn't have to have a great share structure to make a good trade out of it. But obviously a higher share structure could hinder some of the movement or stop it from having just a parabolic move. But this stock has moved. I mean, if we can take a look at the chart, you can see this thing has had some moves in the past. Not too hard to see that from here, about a little under a half a penny, this thing had a strong run almost up to 3 cents, and it didn't take too long to do it, just a couple of weeks. So regardless of the high share structure, definitely like ICOA. Let me move back to security details here when we make a move to our next play. Another one is gold and gemstone mining, GGSM. Watching this one next week. Had a rough end of the week, but then we had a push towards the end of the day on Friday. This thing was trading in the low 20s and had a little push up, had some buying come in at the end of the day on Friday. I do anticipate that to continue going into next week. So I would not doubt within the next couple months this thing hits a penny, but in the short term, I can easily see it testing those right around that 40 area. So there's still room to run in this thing, and I like GGSM. One we have not talked about on this channel, KATX, Cat Expiration, closed at 0.0062. Decent share structure with about a little over $1.5 billion in the float. This is a Karen Courier play. If we get any news from her, this is going to be one that's going to move. So put this one on your radar. Don't know when that news is going to come, but I think it should come pretty soon. I think we're seeing some movement and some rumblings in this company, and I think this is one to keep an eye on. So definitely a stock that I like going into next week. And as far as on the big boards, Mullen, we've been talking about this for a while. This thing had a run little over $4 and ended up pulling back, closed at $2.35. So this thing's pulled back, been beaten up the last couple days of last week. I anticipate this. I mean, this thing's still maintaining a ton of volume. So with the volume should come some movement. As we can see, this thing had 182 million or 181 million in volume. The average volume is 96 million on this thing. So, that's over the last 30 days, I believe. But, man, this one still maintaining its volume and still has a lot of room to run. You can see it ran into a little resistance around this little under $4, right around that $4 area. If this thing can get to and through that $4 area, I wouldn't doubt this thing hits 575, $6 or 550, let's say. Still has to get through there. We still have to have a reversal on this thing because it did get beaten up pretty badly towards the end of the week, but definitely not a bad play to keep on your radar. Now, I cannot stress enough my strategy of pulling out my initial investment on any play that I plan on swinging long term, or more. In fact, if I'm swinging it longer than a week or two, and especially plays that I feel would become an investment or I plan on holding long term, getting your investment out is very, very important. As far as that's one of my main strategies as far as capital preservation and actually creating a stress-free environment for me trading. As we know, long hold in the OTC are very few and far between. They don't come very often. So for me, this is mainly geared towards my any swing that I'm swinging a couple of weeks or anything like that, couple of months. Definitely want to get my initial investment out. So into strength, I will sell enough to get at least half my investment out of it. So let's just say, we don't have to make an example of it, but if I put 1,000 in a trade, the trade goes up, the stock's worth 1,500. I try to pull at least 500 out of that and work with mostly house money. So I mean, like I said, it just creates a stress-free atmosphere. You don't really have to worry about your trading too much. So it's just something that I really like to do. So that's all I got for you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Get ready for tomorrow and trade safe. Always remember, this is a business. It should be treated as such. Devise a plan with strict rules. Always stick to those rules and always be open to learning and improving your skill set. Use mistakes as an opportunity to grow and only rely on your own skills and judgment when entering and exiting a trade. Most importantly, be a professional. And as always, let's get that money, traders.